Hi, my name is Taylor Jones, and so I just want to thank you guys for joining me today and hearing some of the information about students who have or maybe they are experiencing trauma and how other comorbidities such as conduct disorder can also accompany that trauma. So I hope that you have a minute to overview my PowerPoint, take a look, and kind of see what I've presented. But mainly, the purpose of my PowerPoint is to give insight about what trauma means, what it can look like, and how it can manifest over time. And I also wanted to discuss conduct disorder, which I partnered with it. And while it can stand alone as a condition, it can also be majorly influenced by a person's history and the traumas that they have or they are experiencing. I'd say with this presentation, my main target is definitely educational staff. So it can look like teachers, paraprofessionals, even the administrators, and maybe even the social worker that works in the building. So moving forward, trauma can look different for each individual, and I think that we all really know that. And conduct disorders have some commonalities that help distinguish it from other emotional and behavioral disorders, such as violence, aggression, rule breaking, defiance, and sometimes overall a lack of empathy or concern. And I think this partners well with trauma because those exposed to home environments that consist of substance abuse, domestic abuse, lack of structure, that may lead to maladaptive behavior, differences in socioeconomic status, unemployment, lack of parenting and structure are also common for those that struggle with EBD and conduct disorders. So I think that's something that maybe culturally and financially and different socioeconomic statuses can definitely play a part of. Some of the main takeaways that I want to talk about regarding trauma and conduct disorder is in one of my slides. It talks about 6 major themes of trauma-informed decisions that are designed to help better assist our students in need in forming a more inclusive environment. So those takeaways, those principles include evaluate the function and the intent of behavior. Now, I have a background in ABA. If you don't, that's totally fine. But the functions of behavior can look like attention, escape, tangible, and sensory seeking type of behavior. So for example, maybe a student is misbehaving because they are seeking your attention. They want that from you. Maybe they don't want to do the task that you're asking them to do. So they are going to display behaviors that get them out of that task. Maybe they're wanting to work for something. They're wanting access to that preferred activity. Or maybe it's an automatic reinforcement type of situation where their behavior isn't necessarily affected by the other person, but it's doing something for them internally that you have to determine what that purpose is. So by looking at the antecedent, what happens directly before the behavior, and the consequence of, again, consequence doesn't always mean bad. Consequence is just what happens directly after. You can kind of identify the trigger and then decide how you want to respond to that behavior. The next would be to promote a culture of comfort. So letting the students know that that is a safe space, and also with your staff, it is a safe space. Recognizing that practices are re-traumatizing. I saw a video once of a little girl who was taken from a home, and a baby doll is what she constantly carried around, and eventually the baby doll made its way out of her belongings. And when she moved into a new foster home, the foster mother gifted her a baby doll, and it ended up re-traumatizing her because it brought up all of those memories that she suffered from when she was in that abusive home. So while the foster mother had the best intentions in her heart, it was very, very difficult for the young girl and set her back really far. Another thing, reinforce training for employees, right? Transform the language you use. Personally, I have bipolar disorder. It really bugs me when people say I am bipolar because to me, that doesn't define me. It's just something that I have and that I deal with. But I know for other people, they really take that as a form of their identity. So just being very aware of those around you and the language that you use. And then recognizing that your role as the caregiver is an opportunity to heal. I included an emotional video of a young man in a high school. I wanted to go ahead and let you know that it could be triggering to some viewers because it is extremely impactful, but I think it's an important learning moment that this is very relevant in our school society today, and it gives you an opportunity to see that antecedent behavior and consequence, and gives you a moment to reflect on maybe how you would have handled the situation, what you think could have gone differently, and how maybe the situation could have been prevented, or maybe how you could have de-escalated the student. So just to forewarn you on that video, but I think it's really, really helpful and it's really beneficial to watch. And also quite emotional. But I hope that my PowerPoint gives you a lot to reflect on and encourages you to dive deeper into trauma and how it can link to conduct disorders. So thank you so much.